starts us off. Health authorities are investigating rare blood clots and low platelet counts in 6 women within 2 weeks of getting the shot. 1 died. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the pause will give the FDA and CDC time to understand what happened and warn physicians not to treat the clots with a common blood thinner. In the meantime, for those who've received the shot recently,
don't get an anxiety reaction because remember, it's less than 1 million.
If you got it more than 2 weeks ago,
it really doesn't mean anything. You're okay.
Johnson & Johnson's delaying the vaccine rollout in Europe, which was already seeing a vaccine shortage. The Biden administration says the move will not have a big impact on the U.S. supply, with Pfizer and Moderna ramping up deliveries. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Now, to better understand the concerns and the science related to the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine pause, I spoke with Paolo Verardi, Associate Professor of Virology and Vaccinology at the University of Connecticut.
So I guess, one of the things that we have to highlight is that both the FDA and CDC in their joint media call today, in an abundance of caution. So really they're making a recommendation to pause vaccination until they have time to look at this more appropriately, to look at the data more carefully, and also to come up with recommendations for people that may end up, rarely, but may end up, getting such a complication. So this complication here, it's called cerebral venous sinus thrombosis. So it is thrombosis, this blood clots that happen, but in association with low platelet counts, something called thrombocytopenia. And that is a little bit unusual. In fact, heparin is usually recommended for use with thrombosis, but in this case here, it's not recommended. So the treatment is slightly different. So that's one of the reasons why the FDA and the CDC are saying let's pause it for a little bit so that we can give better guidance on how to treat this. So this guidance, will be forthcoming. We have to understand that this is very rare. So as of today, we have vaccinated here in the U.S. about 7.2 million people. They received the J&J or Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and we only observed that in 6 cases, with only one death. One person is in critical care. It's 1 case and about 1.2 million vaccinees, so it's very, very rare.
You mentioned that it's very, very rare, 1 in a million or so. Do we have an idea of how frequently these types of clots form if you take the vaccine out of the equation?
Well, that's a very good question, because that's what they're gonna be looking at. Is just because it's happening in people that happen to get vaccinated, it doesn't mean that the vaccine is causing that. I actually don't know the numbers. What will be sort of the background numbers of these types of conditions in our population here in the U.S. But the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices will be, and that's what they're going to be looking at, really to try to see if there is actually a real link between this condition in vaccination, or perhaps if this is just happening by chance.
This is the second vaccine that has been linked in some way, either anecdotally or through science, to blood clots, the other being the one produced by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. Is this something that's similar to what people have been seeing and what they're researching with the AstraZeneca vaccine?
It's very interesting because the Johnson & Johnson and the AstraZeneca vaccine, they fall into...
Городская стена, колокольная башня, музей провинции Шэньси, музей Стел, горы Джуннаншань. Добраться до Сиэня для туристов очень удобно. Аэропорт расположен в часе езды от центра города. Самолет самый...
Les résultats de l'élection présidentielle du 11 avril. Le président sortant, Patrice Talon, vient en tête avec plus de 86% des suffrages.
Bernard Déçu, il déclare ceci.
Les résultats sont le reflet de l'ambiance politique qui règne dans le pays.
Le candidat FCBE totalise 11,29% et arrive deuxième à un procès de Patrice Talon. Le colistier du duo Paul-Roubaix dénonce des irrégularités qui les auraient pénalisées.
Compte tenu de quelques irrégularités, on estime que nous sommes au-delà de ça.
Making that
se van a